All right. Commencing interview with Julia Morris.
Action!
All right. So, Julia, what first got you into drumming and what kept you going in the early days?
What first got me into drumming was my spectacular taste in music. I've always loved music. I've always wanted to play an instrument. I thought drumming sounded like a good one, and so free will also, I guess.
Very cool. Okay. What was it like being a student at Studio Drum Montreal before becoming a teacher?
It was exciting. It was something completely new. It was, I never really stuck with instrument lessons, and so as an adult taking classes, it was this commitment. I guess because I was spending my adult money on it, it really motivated me to progress. And I always felt like there was a really tight community here. I've met amazing people. It's always been fun.
Okay, cool.
I'm talking loud enough.
I had to open the Velcro so I can't open my bag. Just give me 1 second so I just want to move over to the sofa so I'm not like, sorry.
Oh, I can pause.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you remember the moment you were offered a teaching position and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I actually remember it very well because Brandon and I missed each other's phone calls for about 2 weeks straight. And so I remember I was walking home from work one day and I finally got his call because he sort of made an appointment. He's like, I'm calling you at this time and you have to pick up. So I remember it very well, and I sort of stopped dead in my tracks because I was very shocked I didn't expect that to be, I thought I was in trouble. I thought that's what he wanted to talk about. So it was very unexpected, and I remember it very well, and I was very shocked and flattered.
Okay, nice. So you went through a pretty rigorous certification process. What did you learn about yourself going through that?
I learned that what is the most important in this field is to just sort of fake it till you make it. I didn't feel like I was qualified at all, but when I went through the training, I realized I just had to believe in myself, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And even just teaching lessons, it's not as complicated as it seems. You just sort of have to, you don't overthink it.
All right. Being one of only a very few students to transition into a teacher role is a big deal. What do you think helped you stand out?
My charming personality. That's it.
Totally. How would you describe your teaching style in a few words?
Fun. I think, a few words. Fun. Easygoing. I don't have as much experience, so for me it's more just making sure that the student is having a good time while understanding basic concepts.
Okay, cool. And how do you balance structure and fun in your lessons?
Half structure, half fun. 50-50. Maybe 60-40. Can't have too much fun.
Okay. What's your approach when a student feels stuck or discouraged?
You just have to break it down. You just have to sort of, there's the big picture, but there's also just narrowing it down to what's actually, when you put it all together, it seems really complicated, but when you just put it in segments and little parts, it's it makes it a lot easier to comprehend.
Okay. How has being part of this studio community shaped you, both as a drummer and as a person?
It's definitely changed my life for the better. It was never something that I had anticipated for myself. If I look back, like 4 years ago, I would have never guessed I would have been in this position. I've made amazing friends. I've had amazing influences, amazing role models. I've progressed a lot, and I've had a lot of support along the way from various different amazing people, amazing musicians.
Nice, okay. What's your favorite kind of moment to witness in a lesson as a teacher?
That comes back to breaking it down, and when you get back to the big picture, and it's sort of you have that moment when the student is like, oh, okay, I get it, okay, it's not that bad. Also just like starting slow and then picking up the speed, and once they realize that you sort of get in that, you're not even thinking about it, you're just doing it. When you get to that point, it's very satisfying.
Cool. Have you seen any students grow in ways that really stuck with you?
Well, I just started recently, and so it's very fresh in my brain, just like having a student who's never sat in front of a drum kit before, who doesn't know anything about this instrument or even like theory, and being able to get them far enough to like play a beat and listen to a song and sort of know what's happening and know what to do. It's satisfying. It feels good to be able to pass on the knowledge, pass on the good word.
Okay. How did your experience as a student influence the way you now teach?
I hope you hear me okay. I think it's okay.
How did your experience as a student influence the way you now teach?
Even my lessons as a beginner are very fresh in my brain, and so it's really just taking a lot of the first things that I learned and reapplying it to someone else. Just a lot of beginner concepts and a lot of things that helped me. A lot of concepts that I remember were like pivotal for my progression as a drummer. I like to reapply those in my lessons.
Okay. What do you hope your students take away from lessons beyond just drumming?
Well, I think of having adult students. I started when I was 19, and going into it, I sort of believed like, this isn't going to take me anywhere. I'm too old to start something new. And so I guess the biggest thing is to prove that mindset is very wrong. And even if you don't want to play the drums as a professional musician, you can definitely get far as an adult learning an instrument. You can have fun with it. You can discover new things about yourself. You can discover that you have a sense of rhythm that you never knew you had. There's so much to explore in your life, and so why let your age stop you?
Okay. What still excites you about drumming today?
So much. A lot. As I get better, I realize there's so much more potential for improvisation, for just making up my own concepts, for taking stuff I've already learned and sort of delving deeper into it. It never ends. There's always something to learn. There's always something to improve on, and I look forward to that process.
Okay, very cool. Do you have a favorite style, groove, or song to play, or genre?
To play, I like. Well, I've been trying to get into like weird time signatures. I like math rock a lot. I like American football. I like that sort of thing. I like loud stuff. I like everything. I think it's worth sort of trying out every style to figure out how you can merge it into one and make it your own.
Yeah, for sure. What are your goals as a teacher moving forward?
I want to improve as a drummer. I want to feel more certain about myself and my abilities. I look forward to having students for a year or years and seeing how I can help them improve and feel more confident in themselves. I just look forward to helping people progress and feel confident.
Okay, cool. That kind of ties into the next one. So, how do you hope to continue contributing to the studio's community?
I think I've been. It's nice, especially to see women picking up the drums and helping women feel more confident in learning an instrument and playing music. I'd like to bring more femininity to the studio. Big words. I'd like to bring more feminine energy into the studio. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, love that. What would you say to a new student who's nervous to start?
There's no reason to be nervous. I mean, everyone's gonna be nervous. They're gonna feel like they suck, and you sort of have to suck before you get anywhere for a while. I suck. I still have a long way to go, but I mean, drummers who have been at it for their entire lives would probably still say the same thing. So it's really just a never-ending cycle of you just have to jump into it. You just have to face your fears.
Okay, very wise. So this also ties into our last question. If you could go back and give your beginner self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Have more confidence in yourself. It took me a long time to feel like I was owning the instrument. I didn't want to play in front of people for a long time. It took me a while to get out of my shell, and so I would just suck it up. Just don't be scared.
Okay, well that's all the questions I have for you today, Miss Julia. Thank you so much for your time.